souls, I'm Mukta and you're watching the Sibyl Revealing Secrets. Today we'll be discussing the Hanged Man card. And as usual, I hope that you've already meditated with the card, jotted down your rough points and then you're watching this video. If you haven't, then please do that, and if you have, then let's continue. There are various interpretations of the Hanged Man. Some people think of it as, in fact, majority people think of it as a card that represents confusion, uncertainties, evaluation, not knowing where to go, being hanged basically. Whereas another interpretation is also that you can be self-sacrificing, you can be going through a tough time, putting yourself through a tough time by yourself in order to gain a lot of wisdom or knowledge as against that sacrifice. It is also considered to be a card of slowing down and taking little things into account, getting some space in life, kind of taking a break or a time off from the hustle bustle in order to be able to think clearly and make decisions accordingly. Many a times the Hanged Man is also considered to be the matured fool. The fool card that we had, the first card of the whole deck, fool numbered 0. The same fool is now matured and is taking things, considering a lot of small things into account, being really observant and, taking things the way adults are supposed to do it. Some also say that the Hanged Man talks about trying to find different perspectives of the same situation. Just like in chess, when players play and they are not able to understand what their next move should be, obviously they keep a lot of moves into account when they are planning their next move, and in order to make that decision better, they many a times stand up, look at the board from the side or from the opponent's point of view or from that side. They tilt their head in order to get to see how things are placed. Obviously, when they're looking at it from different points of view, nothing's going to change. But because their view is changing, they might be able to notice a few things that they might be ignoring, or those things might be hidden in front of them from their point of view. So similarly, in the Hanged Man, you're trying to, go upside down in order to look at the world from a different lens or a different perspective. The card is also believed to be a symbolism of patience. I personally take the meaning of this card as gaining a lot of strength and being habituated of the tough times. So a person has been in a really bad situation for a really long period of time. So for that person, that is normal life and they've grown habituated to it. Now, in fact, without that, they would feel that life is kind of boring maybe. So it is not going to be true for each and every person in each and every negative situation, but if you look around and if you try to look at such people, you'll be able to find them. So I kind of believe that the Hanged Man has been hanging upside down since a long period of time and is now pretty comfortable with hanging upside down. Does not really want to get back up, straighten up and live life the way others do. His way of living is really different and he's enjoying his different style of living. But according to this interpretation as well, it does mean that he has grown mature. He has learned to accept what life has to offer and learned to find ways to enjoy what life has given him. He's not giving into life and cribbing about it. He is kind of taking lemons from life and making a lemonade out of it. So if the question is about work or career, then I would say that the person has been habituated with the cons of that particular work or field of career. So for example, there might be an organization that has a lot of politics and bureaucracy that the client is working in, but the client has actually kind of blended into the culture and knows how to tackle things out of it. So right now, the way the client behaves or the way he or she works is pretty similar and goes along with the work culture of the organization that they are in. And hence, if they are in a work organization that's much better than what they've already been used to, then they might not be able to do away with their habits, because of which they might try to invite that culture in their new workplace as well. There are also chances that at the workplace, the client will be facing some problems that he or she has already faced in the past. So kind of similar situations will be coming in the future, and they really are really well equipped as to how to handle those. Of course, if you look at the other interpretations, then you can also say that the work will be at a standstill for a long period of time. There would be nothing moving because things are hanged. Or else confusions or uncertainties, a lack of planning, lack of structure might be on its way. If the question is about love life, then I would say that the couple is very good at internal understanding and being able to handle each other, because they've been with each other since a long period of time, or they know each other that very well, or they have encountered a lot of similar people in their life. Because of that, they are able to understand the other person and handle him or her, or tackle him or her in an amazing manner. They can kind of read each other just by their facial expressions, or just by their body language, or just by the tone of their voice. If it's about someone's personality, then I would say that this person has seen a lot of tough situations in life and has gone through a lot of difficult situations, because of which this person today is very mature and knows how to handle a lot of things. Might even have good planning capabilities depending on the other cards in the spread. If the question is about spirituality, then there are high chances that the client has chosen a different path towards spiritual development. Something that's not very common, and that's kind of offbeat, but it perfectly works for the client, and hence the person should go ahead with it. So now let's look at the symbolisms of the Hangman card from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Over here we are able to see a man hanging upside down from a tree. The tree happens to be a living tree, and it is in the shape of a T-cross. A T-shaped cross, which is known as Tau cross. Tau is actually a Greek alphabet, although I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. We are also able to see a cross that he has made out of his own legs. So he's crossed his legs in such a manner. Because of the two crosses and the fact that it's a living tree, we can say that these are the symbolisms of self-sacrifice. The hangman is considered to be associated with Odin, who had hung himself upside down in order to gain the knowledge of the runes, which again gets us to self-sacrifice in order to gain more wisdom or knowledge. The halo of light represents divinity and purity. What I want to say further is based on one particular symbol, which is the fact that he is hanging upside down. Now these are the different interpretations of as to why is he hanging upside down, or what is he achieving out of it, or basically what does it signify. So one out of that is that he's trying to find a different perspective to life by hanging upside down. He's trying to look at things from a different point of view in order to get to know more about things. Second thing is that he looks very much at ease. Obviously, hanging upside down is not a kid's play. It is not an easy job, and hence it can show a lot of stress on your face. But over here, if we are going to see, he seems to be pretty easygoing with it. He has his body language pretty much relaxed. So we can say that he is not stressed out about the fact that he's hanging upside down, which is why I feel that it is because he has been doing so for a long period of time and is now habituated with it. Whereas his hanging is also interpreted as he does not know what he should do next, and he's just trying to figure things out, or is just being on a pause or on a break till the time things get sorted out. We've already discussed about the possibility that he's hanging himself down in order to self-sacrifice and gain some knowledge, but one more interpretation, which is the last one that I have, is that he's hanging himself upside down so that he can surrender himself. Mainly surrender his ego so that he can connect with himself. He can get into some spirituality, get into more about his consciousness and understand himself better. That's it from the Rider-Waite-Smith. Now let's look at the symbolisms from the Shadowscapes deck of the Hangman. Over here again, because in fact in all of the decks, if the Hangman is obviously hanging upside down, then these few things that I just talked about will fall into place over there as well. Because over here again, this is a difficult posture, but he's doing it with a lot of ease and looks as if he's enjoying it. Although there's one thing that we need to notice over here. There are these red spirals and some red markings over here, which kind of tell us that he has really been preparing for it from a long period of time. And these are the markings from his period of preparation, his period of hard work. So this can be execution of something that you have prepared really very well and very much in advance. We cannot fail to notice that he does not have anything tied to himself. He has not done this by tying himself with a rope or with a tree or things like that. He is doing it all by himself, which obviously would mean that he is self-willing, but would also again tell us that he has prepared for it since a long period of time. He has the strength to do it. And he's also grown himself and developed himself to the extent that he's able to do it with such ease. This again tells us a lot about self-sacrifice and self-development. His posture itself shows a lot of strength and determination. The forest spirits are also showing their appreciation and respect towards the hangman for his strength and determination. We can see it from these tree creatures that are showering their love and appreciation towards him. There's also an Egyptian ankh over here at the corner, which is believed to be the cross of life. So that again brings that essence of cross that was kind of missing in this deck as compared to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But because we have it over here, then again we can relate the things related to cross with this image as well. So that's it from the Shadowscapes deck. Now let's discuss what are the possible interpretations when the hangman comes reversed. The first interpretation is that the client is done thinking and should now get up and act on whatever he or she has planned of. So it's the time to take initiatives and to start taking actions. A reversed hangman can also signify a new cycle of growth. So something that's now again starting, that has ended, you've already learned and got a lot out of it. Now you should start on a new path. A reversed hangman can also pop up when two parties decide to agree to disagree. So they both have a different way of living and they are both of very different points of view, but they do not want to negate each other. They do not want to fight each other. They are ready to accept each other the way they are, and they are kind of agreeing to disagree. It can also mean that this is a make or break situation. You cannot further stretch things any long. You need to now start taking a final decision whether you want to continue with this particular thing or you want to divert into something else. And the final possible interpretation that I have is one accepting oneself as being totally different, taking a totally different path, even if the people around him or her or the near and dear ones do not agree to it, even if they have problems with it, but this person knows who he or she is truly from within and is not afraid to follow what his or her heart truly desires. So I hope that these different interpretations were of help to you in order to come up with your own interpretation of the hangman. And if they were, then please don't forget to hit that like button because that would let me know that I'm doing a good job. You know that I would highly appreciate if you write down your meaning of this particular card in the comments below. And also let us know how can you relate this card with your own life experiences or the life situations or your surroundings, because that gives a better understanding of the card. So it would benefit all of us. Share this video with anybody who would like to know more about the hangman. And if you are interested in knowing about different interpretations of different tarot cards, then subscribe to this channel because I come up with different interpretations of one card every weekend. So I'll see you next weekend. Till then, bye-bye, take care and stay curious.